Yeah, we'll again I have to repeat. We let us learn one or two visarga sandhis here in a simpler way, which is useful to understand the language, means useful to understand the words, how words are connected, interconnected in a sentence. But whereas in Panini, the same thing is used more complicated, more in a mathematical way. We don't go into that details, but this preliminary step is useful to understand Panini's step. So here you can see it is not a Panini's method, but simplified, directly useful in understanding the language. Okay, so regarding Sandhi I say, when two letters come together, that is called Sandhi. Sandhi means joining, not joining, coming together. Coming together is called Sandhi. In Panini's language, Sandhi and Sandhi Karyam. Sandhi Karyam means an effect. Effect means the result. When two letters come together, coming together is called Sandhi. Parassannikarasha samhita. This is the Panini's definition. When two letters, either two vowels or two consonants, or you say two vowels, two consonants, like this, or visarga, vowel and visarga, or consonant and visarga, they come together. It is called Sandhi. Sandhi means samhita. Two letters coming together is called. Coming together means there is nothing intervening, just they're directly coming together is called Sandhi first. Okay. When they come together, some change take place. That is called Sandhi Karyam. First Sandhi, second is Sandhi Karyam. Sandhi Karyam means a change, an effect. A change is generally two ways. Either Adesha or Agama. Some letter comes extra or one letter modifies. Either letter modifies or another extra letter is added. Adding is called Agama. Substituting is called Adesha. Agama or Adesha. Agama is addition. Adesha is substitute. Means you remove the letter and change. Either substitute means either replace. Substitute means replacing. Either replace or modify, you can say. Either replacing or modifying. Replace or modify, either way. So when two letters come together, what letter undergoes, that is a rule. When this letter is followed by this letter, something, a previous letter and later letter. This letter is followed by next letter in that particular. When certain letters follow, some change is inevitable. There two ways are there. The change is inevitable or optional. Nitya Sandhi or Vikalpa Sandhi. Sandhi means Sandhi Karya, generally we say. Sandhi means the change, the recommended change, the advised change. So the recommended change called Sandhi Karya could be either Nitya or option Vikalpa. It could be definitely, inevitably it should come, or Sandhi Karya, the change, the recommended change, either Nitya or Vikalpa. Nitya is inevitable, it must be changed. Vikalpa means optional. Optional means what? You have two options, may change, may not change. That means two forms are retained in the language, two forms are equally acceptable. Optional means two form. Either you may change or without changing also you can retain as it is. Sometimes more than one sandhi takes place. One sandhi takes place, still further sandhi, like that. Over the sandhi, another change takes place. Another change, like the 2 or 3 steps also it goes on. Sometimes 2 or 3. So all that is a complicated, we'll see later as we proceed. So in these sandhis, when you change them, like guna is a sandhi, vruddhi is a sandhi, ayadi is a sandhi. We have studied so far. Guna sandhi, vruddhi sandhi, savarna dirgha, ayadi. 4 we have. One yanadesha is one more most important. Yanadesha. That also we have to study. So these sandhis, should we inevitably do? So there is a rule for it. Samhitaika pade nitya. Nitya dhatu upasargayoh. You can note down the shloka. Can I wipe out now? This is already noted. Samhitaika pade nitya. Note down. Samhitaika pade nitya. Kama. Nitya dhatu upasargayoh. Nitya dhatu upasargayoh. Nitya samase vakye tu if I leave it like that, will it get dried? Generally supposed to put
for short duration.
Okay. So for during class, I can leave it. No problem.
No problem.
Because each time I am closing, each time is giving.
Throughout the class you may.
Okay. So I can keep it. Okay. Because each time giving a problem.
Nitya samase
Vakyetu. Nitya samase kama vakyetu. Nitya samase kama vakyetu sa vivaksham apekshate. Sa vivaksham apekshate. Sa vivaksham apekshate. Full stop, double full stop, sentence. Shloka is over. When first line ends, you put 1 full stop. When 2 lines end, you put 2 full stops. So that means the shloka is complete. Good. Now the meaning is, now you read it out. Samhita is sandhi, ekapade nitya. Sandhi means coming together. Sandhi means sandhi karyam. When 2 come together, making a change. When 2 letters come together, certain mandated change, recommended change, what we call prescribed change. That we have told 2 changes, agama or adesha, addition or replacement. So these recommended changes, should we do? Definitely. We told 2, but 2 when? One is definitely, another one is inevitably we must do, another is optional. So when should we do this nitya? Is there any rule? Is there any context? Or wherever they 2 come, we must do it? What is the rule? So general rule, the Vaiyakarnas have decided, Samhita ikapade nitya, this sandhi karyam, and means changing affecting these modifications, necessitated in a given context. The affecting these changes is nitya means definitely it must be done. Definitely, nitya means it must be done. Ekapade, within 1 word. Within 1 word means to a pratyaya if you are adding, vibhakti pratyaya, etc. When you are like this, bhu bho avati, bho bhav. Bhava, you have no option. You must change it to bhava. Otherwise, bhavati form cannot be derived. The verb cannot be, present tense form cannot be derived. Bhu changes to bho, bho becomes bhav. 2 things are there. One is gunadesha, another is ayadesha. Bhav, no, avadesha. Ayadi sandhi, avadesha. So gunadesha, avadesha 2 are coming. These 2 are, we are applying these changes. We are making these changes to the letters occurring within a word, because bhavati is 1 word. The word is not yet formed completely. When dhatu to the dhatu, when suffixes are added, 2 suffixes, a is 1 and ti is 1. When a and tu, ti, 2 suffixes are added, by adding 2 suffixes to the dhatu bhu, you are deriving a present tense form bhavati. So for bhavati, for bhu to become bhavati, these changes are necessary. Otherwise, bhavati cannot be formed. So that means bhavati is one word. Within a word, within means within the elements of the word. Bhu, ati, they are the elements within one word. So samhita ekapade nitya. Within one word, that means a dhatu and pratyaya, or with is a noun. We are just now we have done the Rama Shabda. For that, what we call is pratipadika. That I forgot to say. Rama or balaka, etc. Noun, the noun basic form is pratipadika. To this we are adding vibhakti pratyaya. What is vibhakti pratyaya? Sa, au, as. Sa, au, as. ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಈ ಆನಿ ಇನ್ ನಪುಂಸಕಲಿಂಗ ಈ ಆನಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಸ ಔ ದಿಸ್ ಸ ಔ ಅಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಭಕ್ತಿ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯಾಸ್ and this basic word is called pratipadika in Sanskrit, but in English is substantive. These words corresponding to Sanskrit grammatical words, these words were brought from Latin, because Latin also has a similar grammar. Therefore, so we say gana, I told you, gana, prathama gana, dvitiya gana. First conjugation, second conjugation, these words were brought from Latin. And Latin also has certain grammar words, therefore they are. So, prathama vibhakti, dvitiya vibhakti, vibhakti pratyayas are added to the substantive or pratipadika. Pratipadika means the basic form, the essential form, basic form. So for the basic form of the verb is called dhatu, basic form of the noun and adjective is called pratipadika. Pratipadika means the moola pada, the substantive. To the substantive vibhakti pratyaya. Case and means case suffixes. Case is vibhakti. First case, second case, third case, prathama vibhakti, dvitiya vibhakti, 7 cases. The case word is a vichitra word. 7, they call them case because the words are brought from Latin grammar. These words are brought from Latin grammar. So, prathama vibhakti, dvitiya vibhakti. In fact, there is a name for prathama vibhakti, dvitiya vibhakti in Latin. Nominative, accusative, instrumental case, nominative case, accusative case, dative case. Oh, Bhandarkar uses them. I'll teach you later. There, first you can see them nominative case. First way, nominative case. Is using as if these are all we are all British people coming from England or Latin. He is teaching this thing. Why can't he use prathama vibhakti? He is using nominative case. Made it totally anglicized. Nominative case means prathama vibhakti. Because when you read certain English books written by Europeans or our academicians, even Sanskrit grammar, they use all these English words. Unless you become familiar with our English grammatical terms, Sanskrit grammar, English terms usable for Sanskrit grammar, and then certain Indian logic shastra, even in there they have used certain Tarka shastra in Latin terms, English terms. And unless you are familiar, you can't read these modern academicians' books at all. All these terms are used there. Nominative case, accusative case, dative case. Otherwise, if you learn Sanskrit in a traditional way, you will be just unable to understand English. Or if you study purely the modern academic way, then again, your traditional books you won't be able to understand. These are all complicated. You have to learn the both. That's why I am repeating both. So this is a pratipadika in Sanskrit. Pratipadika, Panini uses it, so it's a common word in Sanskrit grammar. Pratipadika, in English he calls them as a substantive. So this pratipadika, when pratyaya is added, the pratyaya is called case vibhakti, case ending or vibhakti pratyaya. Okay. So in one pada, this is called one pada. After vibhakti pratyaya is added, this becomes a pada. See, when there is a technically pada and shabda, there is a difference. Shabda is any word is called shabda. But in Sanskrit, shabda and pada are different. Shabda is Punlinga. As soon as I learn a word, immediately you have to learn its gender. Shabda is like Rama Shabda, Shabdaha, Visarga, like Ramaha, Balakaha. It is Punlinga, Shabdaha. Padam is like Palam, Phale, Phalani. Padam, Pade, Padani. It is a Napunsakalinga. Pada means padam, we have to take it as a padam, pade, padani. Padam is a word. Shabdaha is so Shabdaha is Punlinga, Padam is Napunsakalinga. That you have to remember. As soon as you learn the word, immediately learn its gender. There is no way. Otherwise, you can't proceed. And it is useful also. In the beginning, you make this habit, then later Sanskrit becomes very fluent and very smooth. You don't have to work. People learn the words and gender they ignore. After going to certain stage, then they say, oh, I don't know gender. Then they all mess up. Then you can't learn at this stage. Now again start from beginning. Then again it messes up. You can see them how people make a terrible. I told them linga means when I tell they just ignore. I warned them in the beginning. They ignore. After going 10 chapters are finished, then they make, what is this you are making gender? Oh, tell me Swamiji, what gender? Okay, for sake of you write Vibhakti. Not for sake of me, you have to learn whether it is masculine or feminine. Pullinga, Napunsakalinga, you have to learn it. Now they mess up. Every linga, every sentence I have to correct it. Then every sentence I have to correct every word, then what have you learned then? You can't write a single sentence because every sentence, every word I have to correct. Which vibhakti you don't know, which gender you don't know. Because you never ignored, only learnt the word. See, each language has its own way. In Sanskrit, linga has to be associated with the word instantly. Like our Indian languages, like our English, you learn the word and gender later. While learning the word, do you learn gender?
No.
In English or in Telugu? You learn the word. Later you think of gender. But not in Sanskrit. You must learn immediately gender. When they warn, they ignore it. Those who neglect the basic essential warnings, then they'll mess up. They don't learn the language. Oh, then they say Sanskrit is difficult. You are fellow careless and then you say blame Sanskrit is difficult. In that way, every language has its own rules. Every language has its own. Hindi people find our languages difficult. We find Hindi difficult because gender in Hindi also is very difficult. Every word has a gender. Pani pita hai. See? Mera pani we have to say. But chai, mera chai you can't say. Meri chai you have to say. Chai is Strilinga, whereas pani is. You don't know how, on what basis. But pani is liquid, chai is liquid. And but both are inert objects. They are not living beings. They are not male, female. You can't distinguish between how water is male and tea is feminine. So it is not the meaning. We go by the meaning because in South Indian languages we go by the meaning, but the word itself has a gender, just like Sanskrit. Word has a gender. That's all. One more problem. Same meaning. Koshish is a Urdu word, come from probably Persian or Arabic. Prayatna is Sanskrit word. In Sanskrit, but both are used. Koshish is used, Prayatna is used. But Prayatna is Punlinga, Koshish is Strilinga. Maine bahut koshish ki. That ne prayoga, you don't know how to use that. That's a past indefinite, then ne comes, then it's a word changes to ne. The verb change is a very peculiar usage. If you are aware, otherwise I'll tell some other time anyway, that Hindi is a different language. So, Meri koshish bahut rahi, you say that. But mera prayatna, unka prayatna. So, same meaning if one you do this thing, how do you remember that? How difficult it is. Now, bus is an English word. Should you call it feminine, Punlinga or Strilinga? But in Hindi, Gadi, bus is called Gadi. So Gadi is Strilinga. Because Gadi is Strilinga. Bus is, now should we do bus as a Strilinga or Punlinga? Somebody does Punlinga, somebody does, as people as you like it. Because there is no decide, you don't know. It's all confusion. Baat is a Meri baat. Aisi baat hai, Meri baat. Baat is a Strilinga, you can't use it Punlinga. Anything you can't use anymore. So, in Hindi, every word has a gender, is a very difficult. That's it. Right from beginning, you should teach the word has a gender. Then as you learn, instantly, you learn its gender also. But ghoda jata hai, ghodi jati hai. Ghoda, ghodi, different. Ghoda, ghodi, we have to do different there. Everything like that. There are certain words. So, but in Sanskrit, irrespective of its meaning, word itself has a gender. You learn better right from beginning. You pay attention. Let your mind learn this samskara. paying attention to its gender. First day, beginning you do it, then it becomes later, it becomes spontaneous. It becomes just natural. Each time you learn about it, immediately learn gender, that becomes easy. So you never have any problem with gender in Sanskrit. Then unless gender, you can't use the word. Vibhakti, what vibhakti you have to add? You would not know. So Shabdaha Chan. So Samvitaika Pade Nitya. Eka Pade Nitya. Pada means what? I am explaining all that what is Pada. Rama can be Pada. Upasarga is Pada. Dhatu is a Pada. Means any word in Sanskrit is called Pada. Any word called is Shabda. But Pada means only when the Vibhakti is added. After Vibhakti Pratyaya is added, that derived form is called Pada. Either a verb also. Dhatu is a Shabda. But when one tense, some tense, whether present tense, past tense, any particular tense, when the tense form is completely derived, like bhu is Pada. Okay. Bhu is Shabda. Bho is Shabda. Bhava is Shabda. All are Shabdas. Ti is a Shabda. But once Bhavati is derived, then it becomes a Pada. Because Vati are the suffixes. After suffixes are added to them, then the word is derived. Then it becomes a Pada. Therefore, Samhitaika Pade Nitya, within the same Pada, Eka Pada means, same Pada means in the process of deriving, while deriving a noun form or verb form, while deriving the form, in the process of form, there wherever the sandhis are required, like bhu changing to bho and bhava, all these things, sandhi is compulsory. You have no choice, you must do it. Samhitaika Pade Nitya. Okay. Nitya dhatu upasargayo. In dhatu and upasarga, sandhi between, wherever there is a sandhi possible, between upasarga and dhatu, sandhi must be done. Within the pada means with pada and suffix, word and suffix, like nouns and verbs, that is sandhi compulsory. Then upasarga and dhatu compulsory. Samvitaika Pade Nityas, Nitya dhatu upasargayoh. Nitya samase. In one samasa, compound. So when the two words join to become one samasa, a compound word, their sandhi is compulsory. In samasa, you can't have, you can't skip sandhi. You have no option, you must do it. There are few exceptions that you leave them. Exception is also another rule. There in that we leave. But in general, in samasa, sandhi is compulsory. These three places. But in a sentence, when the two words are joining in a sentence, there it depends upon the speaker's or writer's intention. That means it is left to the speaker or writer. Sa vivaksham apekshate. It depends upon the speaker or writer. You want to, as words within a sentence, you want to join, you may use the sandhi, or if you don't want, you can keep them separate without using the sandhi, without applying the sandhi rule. Sandhi rule means the sandhi change. Without doing that, vivaksham apeksha. Vivaksha means the intention of the speaker or writer. Vivaksha is the speaker's or writer's intention. If you want, you can use it. If necessary, you can drop it. You need not apply the sandhi. So in sentence alone, you have a freedom. But in three places, within the word, within samasa, within dhatu and upasarga, sandhi is compulsory. Okay. We are adding little grammar. I think for those who are not interested in grammar will feel little bored. But the another way, we don't use even this much grammar. Just to directly use the words and form the sentence and go ahead. That's all. That is still simpler children's method. That Vadhyar does it. That's the first step. This is little grammar. But there is still much more advanced grammar Panini uses. We are not going into still much more. Anyway, now we are doing sandhi. Sandhis are three. One is a ach sandhi. Ach sandhi means sandhi when the two vowels come together. We call them vowel sandhi. Ach sandhi. Then hal sandhi. Then third is visarga sandhi. Okay. Ach sandhi means sandhi between vowels. A, E comes. Different vowels combine. Combine means come together. What letter changes to what? Compulsory or optional? Like guna sandhi, A, E come together when both are replaced by A. Like ayava, ayava, there we have seen. Vriddhi sandhi, yanadesha sandhi, ityadi, there are I think 6 or 7 is vowel sandhis. A few are hal sandhis. I think another 10 or 11 or 15, around 15 hal sandhi. I don't remember exactly how to say. Around 7 I think are ach sandhi. Then visarga sandhis. Visarga sandhi means visarga always comes with a vowel. It never comes with a consonant. Remember, visarga always comes with a vowel. So there, how the visarga changes. Visarga sandhi. Now here we are learning two visarga sandhis. Visarga and ach. Visarga in combination with vowel. First sandhi. Okay. First you see Ramaha. Here you see Ramaha Atti. Sentence is complete. Ramaha Gacchati. First let us see the thing. Ramaha is Prathama Vibhakti. Gacchati, he goes. Gacchati is third person. He goes, she goes, it goes. Ramaha is a third person. So third person noun and third person verb come together and form a sentence. Ramaha Gacchati. So first Vibhakti is used as a karta of a sentence, that is the subject of a sentence, subject and the verb. So Ramaha Gacchati, it is easy, this much educated people know it is easy. In any language it is same. So we can proceed. Ramaha Gacchati. Similarly Ramaha Atti. Ramaha Atti, Rama eats. Ramaha Gacchati, Rama goes. Here there is a chance for Visarga Sandhi. What is that? Visarga preceded by A. In Rama what is the ending letter? A. A is there. So Visarga preceded by A and followed by A. Or in these things, Visarga preceded by A followed by Ga. Ga is a soft consonant. Soft consonant is hush. Hush, not hush. Hush. Hush andre that second sha agutta. Hush Allah, hush. Hush. See, you watch the sound and produce exactly. Hush, not hush. Hush is Visesha. Se, sha. Visesha, like that. Visesha, okay. So, what is hard consonant? In Pauninese language, khar is hard consonant. Khar means ka in the vowel, in the consonants list of our alphabet list. First two columns, first two vertical columns, that is ka, cha, ta, ta, papa. No, ka, cha, ta, ta, papa. So these 10 letters and sha, sa, 3. 10 plus 3, 13. These 13 letters are hard consonant. So that means in the vertical columns of alphabets, 2 columns kachatatapa and kachatatapa. These 2 columns we have left them. That is hard consonant. Remaining 3 vertical columns are soft consonant. Then hayavarat la, hayavara la, those 4 letters. Hayavara la 4 letters. Then the remaining 3 columns. 3 columns means how many? 3 5s are 15. 15 plus 4. 19. Hayavara la. Yathava yavara la, yavarat Yavarala ha. 4. Yavarala ha. Oh, 5 letters. Yavarala ha. So 5. What is that? 5 letters. Those 5 letters and this 15 letters. So 15 and 5, 20. 20 are soft consonant. 13 are hard consonant. Isn't it? So that's why I put in my writing the yesterday's table, kachatatapa, I put the 2 columns. Shashasar I write to the left. That means these 2 columns and shashasara, these are hard consonants. Then the right side, then after kakha, chacha, tata, then say gagha. Gagha, jaja, da, 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 dadha, papa, no, babha. Those 2 and nyamangananam nasals and hayavarala. Yavarala ha. Those 4 and this 15. 15 plus 4, 15 plus 5, sorry. 15 plus 5, 20. Those 20 are soft consonants and these 13 are hard consonants. This hard and soft is, you have to remember, because it changes. Because the letter, combinations of letters, how they change, you have to remember them. Then only, because in shlokas, sandhi is compulsory. You can't stop it. You have no choice. You must make it in shlokas. In prose alone, you have a choice. Prose, while speaking, is more choice. Writing, people generally make it. They object to traditional people in writing. If you leave out sandhi, they will not like it. Traditional people, nowadays, little bit they are allowing. But in shloka, sandhi is compulsory because the chandas goes wrong. You can't leave them. Chandas will be wrong. You must have sandhis. Therefore, in our traditional granthas, most are in shloka form. All Puranas, all Upanishads, Veda, some of them are prose, but most are shlokas. And in Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavata, all are in shloka. Sandhi becomes compulsory. So unless you split the sandhi, you will not be able to recognize the word and you won't be able to understand. Sandhi, once you learn, it's not that difficult. But these few sandhis, once you become familiar, you cross the sandhi, it becomes easy. You learn them thoroughly. Then any shloka becomes so easy, you split it and understand. Otherwise, this sandhi, you postpone, oh, it's difficult, you leave them. Then your whole Sanskrit becomes difficult. However you learn, you say, again, any new shloka comes, you find difficulty. You should be able to easily understand it. Only sandhi helpful. Padacheda means sandhi is joining, padacheda is separating the words, splitting the words. So this sandhi and separating the sandhis is necessary, then you can easily understand. So anyway, so this is the first is Visarga Sandhi. First Visarga Sandhi we are teaching. Okay, first Visarga Sandhi. In first Visarga Sandhi, Visarga preceded by and followed by A. Or Visarga followed by Hush. Hush means a soft consonant. Soft consonant means, because those who are not familiar with hard and soft, I am just repeating it. Because these are all the preliminary lessons. After I crossed to 2 or 3 chapters, now these hard cards, I won't repeat them. I'll just directly use them. So in the beginning, I am using, because until people become familiar. Thereafter, more things will come. I'll go directly into them and leave all these things. I will not again explain. Of course, if people need it, I'll explain. That's a different. So, hard consonants are called kar, means those 13. 10 plus 3. Then the remaining 3 columns and 5 letters. Ha, ya, va, ra, la. All those things, 5. So, ha, ya, ra, la, va. Okay. So, the 15 plus 5, 20 are soft consonants. Here he says, Visarga preceded by A, or followed by A, or followed by Hush. What happens? This Visarga changes to A. Sorry. You seeing this different? So, Ramaha Atti. So, this Visarga changes to this I'll remove. Okay. So, this Visarga changes to U. Now, what happens? Rama U Atti. Rama U Gacchati. We are in the process, it's not completed. We are in the middle of the process. You can't jump to any conclusion. So, Visarga changes to U. These are the conditions. In these conditions alone, Visarga changes to U. Now, once it changes to U, next Sandhi takes over. Because there is a chance, the condition is conducive for the next Sandhi. What is the Sandhi? A followed by U. Here you see A, Rama. Rama plus O, Guna Sandhi. A plus E becomes A, A plus U becomes O, A plus Ru changes to Ar, A plus Lu changes to Al. So this is a condition for Guna Sandhi. A plus U, what happens? O. Ganga plus Udakam, remember that, it becomes easy. Rama plus Ishvara, Rameshwara, that is A. Here Rama plus E illa, E is not there, Rama plus U. So Rama plus U, so Gangodakam, Ganga plus Udakam, Gangodakam. A plus U becomes O, this is Odakam. Similarly, Rama plus U, what happens? Ramo, Ramo Atti, Ramo Gacchati. First Sandhi rule is Visarga, I repeat, Visarga preceded by A and followed by A. Preceded by A and followed by A. Or followed by Hush. This is another option, we have to say. Oblique is option. Either that or this also. Both cases. That means in both conditions. Visarga preceded by is okay, common. But Visarga following, there are two options. Either followed by A or followed by soft consonant. Means what are we leaving out? Hard consonants we are leaving out. Why? Because if Visarga is followed by hard consonant, the rules are different. Changes are different changes. So all hard consonants we left out. Visarga followed by hard consonants, we put them into separate rule. We'll touch them later. But Visarga preceded by A, and here you see Visarga preceded by Rama, followed by Atti A. In this case, Visarga changes to U, and this U combining with previous A becomes O, Ramo Atti. Athava Ramo Gacchati. In shlokas you must have come across. Here Ramo, Ramo they say. Ramo, Lakshmano. What is this O they say? O is Sandhi.
Okay.
Because of this, because Ramaha, the following letter could be either soft consonant or A. Therefore it becomes Ramo.
Okay.
Ade Ramo Vijayate, like that. Ramo Gacchati, like that in shlokas where you say Ramo. That means, why Ramo? That means the following letter could be A or soft consonant. Therefore it has become Ramo. Because Rama itself is not another word. Ramaha is the basic word. Ramaha is the word. But why Ramo? Due to Sandhi it has changed it. So in understanding the meaning, we have to change back into Ramaha. Oh, Ramo means Ramaha. Probably the next word could be A or soft consonant.
Ramo Vigrahavan.
Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Exactly. Good example. I think we should give more examples like this. Familiar from that. Ramaha Vigrahavan Dharmaha. That is the thing.
Followed by soft consonant.
Ramaha Vigrahavan, V is a soft. V is soft or what? Because out other than 13. So V is a Hayavaratlan, Hayava. Y is a soft consonant. Therefore Ramo Vigrahavan. So Rama changed to Ramo. That is the way. So the point by point go slowly until it is planted in your mind. Once they sit in the subconscious mind, then it becomes so smooth. You read anything, as you read it, instantly mind recognizes. You see, in the beginning we used to think, oh, how difficult it is, how do they learn? It is just samskara. A few days afterwards it becomes familiar. As you read the shloka, instantly, not only you understand, even while speaking, Sandhi automatically comes. Even while speaking also, what is the next letter, you have to remember. What is going to be the next letter? Should I make it Ramo or not? Ramaha, while speaking, suppose, should I say Ramaha or Ramo? Depends upon what is going to be the next letter. If you are going to be soft consonant or A, we can say. If it is going to be hard consonant, you can't use that. But still, the samskara is such that I automatically change it into O, because the next letter, what is going on, mind understands it, instantly speaks. Even while fast, fluently speaking also, Sandhis we make and speak. Sandhis automatically happen. It becomes automatical. So at beginning it looks, but just it is a matter of habit. Once you make habit, it becomes very easy to speak. Okay, so first stage is Ramo. Now you understood. Ramaha becomes.
Ramo.
Oh, you have not yet written all these steps.
So yeah.
Okay, note down. You note down. Otherwise, I'll wipe out. You better note down. Here, one more step is there. I have to tell. That's why I'm telling. One more step is there. At the end, you leave the space. You complete the steps, and then I'll tell you one more step. Last step. One more step is there. Okay. So again I repeat it. Visarga preceded by a and followed by either a or followed by hash. Instead of calling it soft consonant, I made the short abbreviations. I am using Panini's abbreviation. Hash means it is easy to remember. Hash means all the soft consonant. So in that case, what happens? Visarga changes to u, and this u combining with previous a. Oh, it becomes guna. Therefore, Ramo Atti, Ramo Gacchati. These are the derived forms. Here, Ramo Gacchati is the final already. You can now for no further change. But here, one more step is possible. Here, one more rule is A, O. A and O. A and O followed by only A. Short A, single A. That's all. What happened? A or O, when they followed by A, what happened? The A merges into these letters, previous letters. Merges into previous letters, and in place of it, a mark like S is put there. It is called avagraha in Sanskrit. This avagraha indicates that A has merged into it. Of course, this avagraha is used for two reasons. One is for Savarna Dirgha, another is for this. For Savarna Dirgha also this is used. I'll tell you when Savarna Dirgha again comes when I'll tell you. But here you see Ramo Atti, O followed by A. I told you this rule. E Ong. Enga Padanta Dati Panini Sutra. Eng means E Ong Sutra. Aivunu, Ruluk, E Ong, third sutra. In third sutra, A, O put together. Eng, E Ong is the sutra. Eng means two letters come together.
Okay.
When Eng is followed by A, what happens? This A gets dropped. Either you say dropped or gets merged into it. You see here what I am writing. It gets dropped. Then in place of it, this mark comes and it is written close to it. Atti. Now how do you read it? Ramoti. Ramoti.
Ramoti.
Ashte. So Ramoti means Moti. What is this? Ramo Atti. Where A is merged into it. So Avagraha mark is put there. You can note down this.
Eng followed by
A. Short A.
Short A.
Then what happens? The A merges into the previous A or O. You can note down. It is there already in the book. The A gets merged into previous A or O. It is neither written nor pronounced. Full stop. It is neither written nor pronounced. But a mark like S called avagraha can be used. But a mark like S called avagraha can be used. Okay. Ramotra. Ramaha atra. Ramotra. We say. Gets merged into it. Like this in shlokas you must have come across these things. I am not immediately able to produce them, but any shloka you read them, intaddu comes there. Dehetra. Dehe atra. Dehetra. Like this. The he, a merges into it and put avagraha. Like that. In shloka, Gita shlokas also you come across. So, first Visarga Sandhi rule is Visarga preceded by A and followed by A or soft consonant. Visarga changes to U. It is there already in the book, in the footnotes you can see them. And this U joining with previous A becomes O. So, this is an example for This is the example for soft consonant. One example we have given, there are many. So here, when there is a soft consonant, no further changes, sandhi stops there. Sandhi concludes Ramo Gacchati, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. But when there is a the one more sandhi possibility. There is a possibility for another sandhi. That is this aing sandhi. Aing. A-O. At the end of the word A-R-O, followed by A. A means A and other any word. Then what happens? The A merges into A-R-O. When it gets merged, it is neither written nor spoken. See, Ramo Atti we don't say. Ramotti. Ramotti. That's all. Ramotti. So here it is neither spoken nor written, but instead of it, you can put a mark like yes, called avagraha. It can be used because it was not there in ancient days.
Okay.
In ancient, ancient means it came centuries ago. It came. We don't know. Centuries ago it came. So we don't know. I think the research scholars should have been when it started, but it came little later. So. But it is used now. Even before Britishers, it was there. It was there. They were using it. So this marking. So Ramoti. Now this is the first Visarga Sandhi rule.
Okay.
There is one more Visarga Sandhi rule. Time is up. Abba. My explanation is eating away a lot of time.
It's okay.
Then I'll wipe out. Okay, you noted down all these things. One more I say, then you can directly start your translation work. Okay. In these things, one more Sandhi rule I'll tell you. Tentatively I'll tell you, detail I'll tell you later. Okay. Visarga preceded by A we told. A. Now it is, if Visarga is preceded by long A, short A, we have told already, Ramaha Asti. Oh, Ramaha Asti we can say. Ramaha Asti, Ramosti. Same thing. Ramaha Asti becomes Ramo Asti. A merges and Ramosti. Ramosti. Krishnosti. Lakshmanosti. Now the second rule of Visarga is, Visarga, in this there are two, A and B, but only A I'll teach because B is a little complicated, I'll tell tomorrow, or when it comes. So Visarga preceded by A and followed by soft consonant. Oh, followed by vowel also. Followed by vowel or soft consonant. What happens? This gets dropped. Take for example, Janaha Vadanti. Janaha Gachanti. People go. So Janaha Gachanti, Visarga gets dropped. You simply say Janaha Gachanti.
Okay.
So Visarga is missing, that means dropped by Sandhi rule. Janaha Gachanti, Janaha Vadanti. Okay, these first two Sandhi rules are applied in this chapter.
Okay.
More we'll tell later. So you can start now translating. Just I'll give you one example, you can see them. Nrupo Jayati. So now, Nrupa word you have learnt. You remember now. Repeat it. Now, Nrupaha, Nrupau, Nrupaaha. We learnt only three forms. Ekavachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. Ekavachana is Nrupaha. Dvivachana is Nrupau. Nrupaha. But here using Nrupo. That you have to imagine. First thing is Jayati. Jai is a soft consonant. See, Nrupo Jayati. See, Jai is a soft consonant. But here Nrupaha is possible. Because Jayati Ekavachana, Nrupaha is Ekavachana. See, Ekavachana goes with Ekavachana verb. Bahuvachana goes with Bahuvachana verb. See, Nrupaha singular. Nrupaha Gacchati. Nrupaha, if you make plural, Nrupaha Gachanti, you have to say. Because many people requires many verbs also plural. If this is plural, this is plural. If it is dvivachana, it is dvivachana. Both go together like that. So nrupo jayati in these things. Nrupo, in fact, it was a paha. Then why O become? That is, as I told, first rule. Visarga preceded by A and followed by Ja is a soft consonant. This changes first to U, and U joining with U, A becomes nrupo. Okay. So nrupo jayati. You split it, nrupaha jayati, and translate it. A king conquers. Or wins. Okay, anything. A king conquers. Like that. The other sentences are there. Some of them you may make mistakes, but doesn't matter. We will correct them and explain them. One or two slightly may be there, but doesn't matter. Whatever you know. One thing is, from what we learnt alone, he uses them. He doesn't use any new word which we have not learnt so far. From the previous chapters, whatever we learnt alone, he uses them. Translate Sanskrit into English, and if you have a patience and time, yeah, you can do English to Sanskrit also. A few sentences. You translate them. Tomorrow I shall check. While checking, whatever the rules and other things, if mistakes happen, I'll correct them, explain them. All that has to be done. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Kings protect. Nrupaha rakshanti. Nrupana